morning, children. So, as we were discussing about your first lesson, Introduction to History. So, we discussed about the meaning and why we want history to be studied, and about the father of the history. So, father of the history, Herodotus of Greece, as well as when it comes to why it is necessary, it is a memory that recollects all the past events. So, for this purpose, we are in the need to study of the history. So, today we will going to continue with the lesson. Introduction to history. To study any history or any of past events, we want some materials or some sources. So, why these sources are very much essential? Because these are the evidences that proves the incident has happened. The incident was happened at the particular time. It was happened at a particular place. So, to tell or to give confirmation about an event or an incident or about a particular person, these sources are very much essential. So, the person who construct history is called as historian. The person who construct history is called historian. But to construct the history, historian needs some of the particular evidences or some of the sources, because on studying that sources only he is capable to write or to prepare a valuable history. So, as I told, history must having a particular or authentic about the time, person, as well as about the place. So, to give that authentication, the historian is in a need to study those sources in detail. So, history, according to historians, we can say these sources are very much important in studying of the history. So, why these sources? Means these sources give boost to a historian to prepare or to construct a valuable history. So, when it comes to sources, these sources are classified into two different types. They are literary sources and archaeological sources. Literary sources, archaeological sources. Archaeological sources. Why? What is first? We will going to study with literary sources. What is literature or what is literary? When we study about the history or in a perspective or in a context of history, literary means the thing which is written or told in oral. So, a subject which is written or told in oral manner. So, they are called as literary sources. So, literary sources, again it is divided into two important aspects. They are written sources, written literary sources, oral literary sources. So, what is meaning of written? Written means a particular person who has given a particular things, like inscriptions we can say. So, it is in a written manner. The books, the big about encyclopedias. So, we can take all those books in a written manner. They are comes under the written literary sources. When we come to know about the oral, what is the meaning of oral here? Oral means a particular song or a particular story or any particular thing which is translated or transmitted from one person to another in a oral manner, from our mouth to another one. So they are called as oral literary sources. So examples like stories, ballads, or about the songs. So all these things comes under these oral literary sources. Written means, as I already told, written means it is in a written form. So we can see easily, we can study them with a ease manner. But oral, it is not prescribed with a particular thing. It is just transmits from one person to the another. So again, this written literary sources is classified into another two types. They are native and foreign sources. They are native and foreign. So native literary sources. What do you mean by native literary sources here? Native means the things which are written by the Indians, which are written by the Indian historians. So they are called as native literary sources. Native literary sources, because when it comes under the native literary sources, we can come to know about so much of historians who have gone through with the excavation and found so much about the Indian history. So they are going to write, or they have written some of the valuable things or the incidents about a particular person, that are called as native literary sources. When it comes to the foreign literary sources, so the persons who came from another country, they are the person who is not a citizen of India, who writes history, they are comes under the foreign literary sources. A person who is not the citizen of India, who construct history, that book or that particular things comes under foreign literary sources. So as I already told that this oral literary sources, that comes like songs, stories, ballads. So ballads, stories, songs, so many of the things that comes under oral literary sources. Oral literary source, what I told, the things which transmit from one person to another. So the best example about this oral literary sources, which you all are familiar with, that we can say as Punyakoti. So it is a story which narrated through a moral point of view or the moral education. So there it is a transmission of one person to another, right? So that particular thought or a particular story, telling of a story in a way of singing, that comes under this oral literary sources, means that type of things. Okay, that type of things that comes under the oral literary sources. When it comes to archaeological sources, these archaeological sources will going to help, or these archaeological sources help about to know the lifestyle, the economic status, about the social livings. So everything we can come to know by these archaeological, because these archaeological sources are going to be defined, are going to be understood through a particular process. So historian goes under a digging of earth to take the pots, coins, and about the inscriptions. So some of the writings and about the paintings. So all those things should not be vanished. So a layer of mud that comes out, or they divide with a process called digging. So that process of getting the sources by digging the earth is called as excavation. So that excavation process helps a historian to undergo or to understand a particular period of history. So it may give information about a king, or about the lifestyle of a people, or about the social standards, or about the economic status or economic capability of that particular period. So this archaeological sources will going to give so much of information towards all the aspects about or of a particular period, we can say. So when we talk about, sorry, okay, so when it comes to archaeological sources, we can take under the important things as of coins, pots, inscriptions, and about coins, pots, inscriptions, as of, we can say, like artifacts. So all these things will going to give information about a particular period. These coins, about gold coins, silver coins of a particular king. So many of the kings have given an imprint of their national emblem, or about their own, or about a particular lord they have worshipped. So that were engraved on the coins. So when it comes to means in coins, we can also say as like gold coins, silver coins, copper coins. So it shows that how the prosperous of that society or about that particular kingship. So when it comes to pots, so the pots going to say about the fertility of a land and about the lifestyle. So how the pots were used by those people. So maybe for drinking facility or to store the grains what they have grown. So for all those aspects, these pots are the types or the broken pots were going to be helpful. Next, when it comes to inscriptions, these inscriptions shows us or give a direction us about a particular king. So these inscriptions, when we talk about Vijayanagar, so they Bukkaraya have solved the misunderstanding between the Jains as well as Vaishyas that has penned in the inscription, Shravanabayavoda inscription. So that we come to know about. So when we talk about the Ashoka's inscription which was found at Raichuru, so we come to know about Musky inscription. At that time what happens, Ashoka's full name was engraved or that has been seen in that inscription. And when it comes to artifacts, artifacts show like paintings, about sculptures. So all those things show about the beauty or about the intelligence or about the king's patronship of a particular artifacts. So all those things comes under the archaeological sources. So sources are very much essential to construct a valuable history. The person who constructs a valuable history is called a historian. So these sources are going to helpful to all the individuals to study a particular period. So these sources are divided into two particular things. One is literary sources, another one is archaeological sources. This literary sources means written or oral things. So again this literary sources is divided into written as well as oral. So written which were penned. So written sources again classified into two types, native as well as foreign literature. So native literature, the person who have written the a citizen of India. Foreign means the person who is not a citizen of India who construct history. So that comes under the foreign literature. When it comes to oral, ballads, stories, songs, templates, so all those things comes under the oral literature. When we go to study about the archaeological coins, pots, inscriptions, artifacts, so many things that comes under the archaeological sources. So these all sources are going to help to construct a valuable history with the authentication. So authentication in history is voluntary. So to build that compulsion about a particular person, place or time, this all the sources are going to help to a historian to build or to construct a valuable or a fruitful history. I hope you have understood whatever I taught about the sources in this class. We will going to finish off your lesson in our next class. Hope you have understood. Thank you. Take care of yourselves. We will going to meet up in our next class. Bye everyone. Take care.